Wow, is it Monday already? Jerry Escher with Debbie Georgianni and you. Maybe you feel the same way. Maybe your weekend just flew on by. Maybe it dragged by for you, and you're glad Monday is here. In either case, welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and of course you, the listener. You are the ones who always drive our program with your phone calls and your takes and your insights and wisdom and life experience on the topic. So, Debbie, I think we got a good one today, one that's going to make us do a little bit of reflecting and maybe a little bit of confessing.
Oh, yeah. Handling humiliation. That's the topic that Jerry put on the calendar for this show. And I was reading the synopsis, Jerry, and I just realized I'm a pro at this. I'm an absolute pro at this, handling humiliation, because I handle it on a daily basis. Actually, I really do, honestly. When you know how my situation goes with my children and the fact that I've had very little communication with them in 11 years, it oftentimes when I'm talking to people and they find out I have children and grandchildren, well, next come the next comments. To show me pictures, or where do they live, or what do they look like? And I don't know, and I don't know. And that's the answer. So I suffer from handling this. I'm a pro at it, I have to say. So we're talking today about handling humiliation today, and how do you handle it? And it's part of your spiritual life. It helps you, I think, in growing in your faith walk and understanding yourself better and your role in this world. And we want to hear from you. So here's the number. We introduce topics. We're going to go into this a little deeper in the next couple minutes, but I want to give you the number because phone lines do fill up rather quickly and the show moves very fast. So if you want to jump in on this, if even the topic intrigues you, call in at 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986.
Yeah, a real simple question. How well or in what way do you handle humiliation? And how has that changed for you over the years? I can remember very many times, Debbie, when I was young, I think due to whatever circumstances, I always wanted to try to make sure that teachers and coaches and Bible camp, tutors and all of this kind of were aware that I was there. I would try extra hard, and just wanted to be accepted, wanted to be appreciated and applauded. And so sometimes I would sing loud. I remember one time I was singing really, really loud when we were all singing as a group Christian songs. Mm-hmm. And the leader had to pull me aside. I'm not even sure if he pulled me aside or not, but he said, "Hey, you're really, really doing it too loud. You got to sing right along with everybody else." And you just kind of pout and sulk and go back and get back in your place and sing just like everybody else. But little things like that. But all through life, on the job, folks, have there been times on the job when the boss came by and just kind of, gave you the riot act over something, in front of your fellow employees? How do you handle a moment like that? Or in the home, Debbie, opportunities for humility always are present.
Yeah, that's true. But I think as you're growing up, Jerry, you try your hardest to avoid being humiliated. That's why people don't go on stage and, don't sing solos and stuff like that, because they don't want that chance that they could be embarrassed or, feeling that sense of being mortified but as you get older, and especially if you have a chronic situation like my situation is, you encounter humiliation and it's just part of the everyday existence. And you learn, there's not much that can humiliate me anymore, Jerry, which is kind of interesting. I've kind of mastered that because of what my situation is. But it took me many years to get through it because, it's like a punch in the gut, and it kind of sets you back for a little bit. And then you just kind of have to keep going forward. But you learn a lot about yourself. You understand, you lean a lot on God because you know that God's watching and God understands things and God knows you. And so it kind of restores some of that dignity that you may feel when you feel degraded or something like that. But it's an interesting topic, Jerry. I don't know exactly where we're going to go with it, but I think we should unpack it together. But we need our listeners' help. So if you could call in at 1-833-288-EWTN, that's 833-288-3986, and maybe discuss how you handle those humiliating moments in your life. And what it has done for you. Maybe you've grown spiritually. Maybe it's been a setback for you, or you have a hard time handling it. I'm gonna say that I am a pro at it, Jerry. So I'm ready to go with this topic. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well, yeah, again, here's the phone number, 833-288-EWTN. Folks, you don't have to think long and hard until you come up, excuse me, with an instance where you had some humiliation. And by the way, we're not asking you just to call up and say, oh, I was just so humiliated. It was awful. But, okay, out of that, what came out of that? A maturity level, a more mature you. Perhaps you learn not to, speak up so quickly, or to maybe be a little less boastful. Maybe you said, hey, watch this. You guys watch me. Watch what I do here. And bam, flat on your face, and you get up and everybody's watching because you told them to, right?
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there going, oh, and this could be in the classroom. I remember one time, Debbie, our teacher, he was not a really nice guy. This was sixth grade. I mean, he was a nice guy, but he'd do some really, I think, mean things now and then. And just out of the blue, he would call on students to come up to the front of the room and do a math problem on the board. I mean, we weren't studying math at the time. It was just whatever time of the day. And so kids would go up there and they would get it wrong. And this was back in the time when school teachers could give SWATs, okay? This is how far back I go, without legal retaliation or a lawsuit. And so here I am. I'm laughing when all these kids are getting their answers wrong, getting their SWATs, and I just yell out, I said, this is fun. And he goes, oh, you think it's fun, Mr. Usher? How about you next? And guess what happened? I didn't get the question right. And guess who got a SWAT right there in front of everybody?
Uh-oh.
You talk about humiliation, Debbie.
Yeah, but you asked for it.
I did. And this is one of the worst places to get humbled, because you're in front of your grade school peers. All those people that you want to look macho in front of, and smart and intelligent.
Right.
So, yeah,
I get it.
So we've all been humiliated sometime in life. How did we deal with it? At that time, I think I'm sure I didn't say another word for quite a while.
Or you called in sick for a couple days at school.
Right.
Mom, I don't feel good. Can I stay home another week?
I called in sore for a couple days.
Yeah. Okay, this is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about handling humiliation today. And this is a topic we can all weigh in on. So please call in at 833-288-3986. We'll go right to the phones coming up.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Along with Debbie Georgiani, I am Jerry Usher, and the Sunrise Morning Show. It is on before the sun rises where I live, but it's on where the sun rises in a lot of the country and the world. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Time, Matt Swaim and Anna Mitchell present their audience with a better way to start the day. So join Matt and Anna and the Sunrise Morning Show team, 6 a.m. Eastern Time here on many of these EWTN affiliates.
Okay.
Are you up that early, Deb?
Oh, yeah, I love the Sunrise Morning Show.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. You
I
are
do.
up
I
early.
love it. Yeah, I love it. I get all, I get the current events and stuff that's happening. I think it's great. They do a great job. Okay, let's go to the phones. There is an open phone line. I cannot believe it. Normally we are just packed here, so that must mean that you are listening and there's something that you feel you want to say. So that's your phone line at 833-288-3986. Jump on it. Raina did in New York on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Raina. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hello? Raina, are you there? Okay.
Oh,
Hi.
There she is.
We can hear you.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We can.
Hi. Sorry about that. Debbie, I was interested in your story in particular. I have a similar circumstance. I haven't spoken with my daughter for 2 years now, and she rejected me on my religious beliefs as well as my political beliefs, and I don't even know if I have a grandchild. And I was booted out of her wedding, let's put it that way. And I was very touched by what you said, and it inspired me to call in and learn more and how you walk that. I have been praying, and it is very humiliating. It is very painful to be around my friends who are having baby showers and going on to that, a passage of life that I have been denied, I guess, and it is very, very painful. I often don't even say anything anymore, and I feel almost like I'm denying that she's my child, and by not talking about her anymore because it hurts so badly.
Right. I can totally relate. There's so much to be said about this topic, Raina, but unfortunately with the show, the way it moves so quickly, there's not a lot of time. So I would ask if you have a moment, if you could email me, I would be happy to share with you in a deeper way my journey and how I coped with it. And you can email take2 at EWTN.com. Okay, take2 at EWTN.com.
Okay, thank you.
Well, but yes, before you go, though, I just wanted to say I can totally relate. It's the most painful experience for a parent to have the bonds and the ties being severed by the child's choice, by the adult child, or if they're a teenager, or even a young child. It's so painful. I can't. I'm going on 11 years. I never thought I could even live this long, to be honest with you. I remember very vividly being at the 2-year mark where you're at, and I kept thinking, well, there's chances that things could happen, and it's such a day by day journey. But I will tell you this, Raina, I got incredibly close to God in a very unique way through this. So that's why I want you to email me so I can share with you. And you're not alone.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's
Thank
hundreds
you.
of thousands like us, Raina. You're not alone. And just remember, you're a great mom. You have to remember that. You're a great mom, okay?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate those words. I will just say real quickly on humiliation that I get humiliated on a routine basis on other things, but I really do believe that humiliation is my way of keeping me humble and on my knees and remembering how to respond in the world through Christ, not through myself. I use those as opportunities to pray. I even did so this morning. I had someone do something to me that was humiliating, and I wanted to respond in kind. And I said, God, show me how not to act for myself, but act for you. So that's how I cope with that. And it's a very topic because I do think there's a difference between humility and humiliation.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, you're a beautiful soul, and I can't wait to continue this conversation with you. And so, stay strong. Okay. There's a lot of graces coming your way if you can make sure you stay in that good place that you're at. So I look forward to us continuing this. And Jerry, see, this affects hundreds of thousands of us, and it's a tough thing, especially as parents, when we love our children so much and they choose to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah, Raina, thanks again for your call, and we'll pray for you. Please do pray for us, and thanks for listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And she mentioned, she noted experiencing humiliation really every day. And Debbie, in a sense, we can. And this so goes against our nature. But if we wanted to really, and there is a connection between humiliation and humility in the sense that we grow in humility, or we can, to the degree that we are humiliated, or we can go the other way. We can get prideful and just get puffed up and not let the humiliation moments teach us humility. But for anyone who has heard of the Desert Fathers, these were centuries and centuries ago, men who would go out, and I think there were probably desert mothers as well, but the Desert Fathers would go out away from the world. They would go out away from the world into the desert, maybe live in a cave somewhere, and few of them would know where the others are, but they were mainly kind of had solitude. And that one of their sayings, Debbie, was, "A day without humiliation is a day wasted." They felt like a day without being humiliated in some way was actually a day wasted. And what they would do, they would often be humiliated in spiritual warfare, in their prayer and so forth. And what they would do is they would say, if that did not occur during the day, then they said we ought to humiliate ourselves.
Wow.
They strove for humility so zealously, and so often we just run away from those moments. But let us remember that, they really can be, they can be turned into wonderful, shiny pearls in our spiritual crown if we let them do that.
Well, here's the good news. I've never wasted a day then in 11 years. So there you go.
Good.
I'm right there with I'm right there with the Desert Fathers. Okay, Alice, you're up next in Bismarck, North Dakota on Real Presence Radio. Hi, Alice. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi. I got a tongue lashing over Facebook, of all places, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't know where it was coming from. Uh-huh. And I had just heard that, confessions used to be public. And so I thought of that, and that gave me comfort, because I thought whether or not what this person said was true or not, it's like, okay, this is public, And I just heard last night that Mother Teresa said that when people accused her, she said, it's not between me and them, but it's between them and God, and between me and God. So that gave me comfort, too.
Mm-hmm.
And
who said that, Alice?
What's that?
Who said that, Alice? Who did you say said that?
Well, Mother Teresa. Some people had written really awful things about her, and she said it's not between me and them, it's between God and them, and God and me. And that was really helpful. And then obviously, of course, the way of the cross, because uniting all of our sufferings to Christ, we bear some of that cross of Christ, and realizing that we're suffering with him.
Right. Well, and Alice, that what you just said, I just want to jump in there real quickly, because I'm sorry you had to go through that on Facebook, and I'm sorry that was not a pleasurable experience. But what you got out of it is you quoted that Mother Teresa, what she said about that, and I think that's really helpful. The thing about humiliation is that we strive in this world for something. I don't know necessarily what it is, but it seems like everybody's trying to climb over and climb up for everything in this world, and that seems so natural, like part of human nature. And when we're humiliated, that seems something like that is something that we try to avoid at all costs, and then we also there's people make fun of people who are humiliated and stuff like that. And it's interesting when that's so typical of how we are to be as Christians. It's countercultural. We're supposed to be very different, because we're not supposed to be striving for the things here. We're supposed to be striving for the things in eternity. And so humiliation, it makes complete sense. I just had an aha moment from when you were speaking, Alice, and from when Raina called, and then Jerry added, that it's so interesting if we do exactly what the Desert Father said, and experience or have a taste of that humiliation on a regular basis, that keeps us focused on God instead of focusing here. And so it's very interesting. It just all of a sudden dawned on me. I'm curious if that's what you got out of this conversation so far as well, Alice. What do you think?
Well, I just think that drawing close to Christ, that's what it's all about. And the saints have told us that the way of the cross is the way to go. So in fact, I guess we're supposed to be rejoicing, we're supposed to remember that we're supposed to rejoice in the cross, right? So may God give us many opportunities to practice, right? So
Right.
That's my hope.
And let us remember Jesus' own words in Matthew 11:29. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and humble of heart. Jesus is our master, our guide, our teacher when it comes to things such as virtue and patience and love, and of course humility. And he said, look at me, I am humble of heart. And so that's our job, Debbie and Alice, is to try to be more like Christ, like you said, Alice, and that includes humility. And one of the only ways to get humility is to be humiliated. So, very good,
Amen.
Alice. Thanks.
What a thing to look forward to. Okay.
Yeah, right. Congratulations, everyone.
You're the winners of being humiliated. Okay, Laura, you're up next in Virginia. Thanks, Laura, for waiting, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, thank you so much. Well, I'm similar to your first caller and to you, Debbie, because I have a terrible situation with my only child, which is my son. And what happens is, what I've learned to do over the years is to not run away or be silent when I'm asked about him, even though that's the thing that I don't really want to talk about, because you learn to cope with it and kind of put it in a little place. I call it my son's name, and I say that I put it in I don't want to say his name, but his box, because you just have to get through with your day and do what you need to do. So, but what I do is I tell people really briefly, like, what happened, so I'm not making it about me. At least that's what I try to do. And then that's, of course, it's shocking to some people, so I don't want to dwell on it. So I say it's fine, and I just say it's okay. I've learned to deal with it. But if you could, say a prayer for him, if it's that kind of group of people. And I found that that's really helpful, because we are still parents, and we can't, we don't want to pretend we don't have kids, even though it's how you are severed from them in this painful way. So that's what I do.
Wow. That's
helpful.
And Laura, if you want to at all, you're welcome to email me as well. Take 2 at EWTN.com. There's a lot of, over the past 11 years, I learned a lot. I became, unfortunately, very well read on what happens with alienation. And I've learned so much, and I didn't realize it was this deep, dark secret that hundreds of thousands of people live with on a daily basis because of the stigma that surrounds it. Because, as you know, Laura, when you tell somebody that you're not talking currently with your child, you just know that the cartoon bubble over their head is, oh, I wonder what kind of parent she must have been for their child to do this. That's the cartoon bubble that goes over somebody's head. So I always kind of burst that bubble right out of the gate, Laura. I always say, and by the way, if you're even thinking to yourself that I was a lousy parent, I wasn't. I was a great parent, and I come right out of the gate just like that, because I have to, because I know it to be true, and I'm not going to, have somebody think that about me when I know it's not true. And so it's a tough situation. So you're constantly feeling this, and it's something that is a perpetual grieving until that child is back home. And as a matter of fact, Laura, I am writing my manuscript, my life story, and it's actually titled "Perpetual Grieving," mourning of the loss of your child that's still alive. It's a very tough situation, right? Because when people have closure,
Well, go
ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's your show.
Well, I was going to say, I have a close relative, again, I don't really want to say who, but extremely close relative that lost a child. And that mother said to me, my relative said, it's harder for you, what you're going through, than it is for me.
Well, and the reason
her son actually died. So
right. Because here's the reason why, and I heard this from my counselor, because it's so painful when a parent has to bury their child, but there's closure there. They know they're going to see their child again. But when you have your children that are still alive and you can't touch them and you know they're there, it's like a missing child syndrome. It's the pain is constantly there, and it's constantly ripping your heart. So it's a tough situation, and there's so many of us though. So please know, I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to Raina. You're a great mom. You have to remember that. If you don't remember that, you're not going to get through this. Okay.
If I could say one thing, I mean, it has been a while for me. My son is in his early 20s, and if I can offer some hope, I mean, I've done a lot of research myself and talked to people, and we have to wait until they're mature, their brains mature, and then there is a good chance that they can see this perspective and the reality for what it is.
Right. Laura, you've got a lot of prayers here, not only from me and Debbie and the show team, but from all of our listeners around the world. Bless you. Thanks for joining us on the program today. Glad you're with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. It's a Monday version of the program, and today we're talking about handling humiliation. It's going to come quite possibly on a daily basis, maybe not daily, but certainly very, very often. How do you handle those times in life when you've been brought to your knees and humbled by embarrassments or failures, or not even something that was your own fault, maybe the actions of somebody else? Have those moments helped you grow spiritually? Looking for your take right now at 833-288 EWTN or 833-288-3986. Going to go back to your calls. Thanks for waiting through the break. Patty in Pennsylvania, listening on JMJ Radio. Hello, Patty. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi there.
Good afternoon. Perfect segue, Jerry. My humiliation was that I found out 6 months ago my husband was having an affair. And the humiliation wasn't directed at me. It was more self-humiliation. I blamed myself. I hid away like a hermit for weeks. The first public outing that I went to, I remember thinking that every person in the stadium was whispering about me. And then I prayed really, really hard. And I remember going to church the first time, walking up the aisle by myself and kept my head held high. And there were at least 20 congregation members that came over to hug me. And at that point, I just realized that I had nothing to do with this humiliation. I was naive. I was stupid. I was more trusting than I should have been. But it was a 33-year marriage.
Wow.
So I had to turn to Jesus to get through it.
And where are you today, Patty? How are you today?
We are separated. We are talking about possible marriage counseling. I'm a devout Catholic, so divorce is a very tough topic for me. So he's certainly not living with me. I'm not ready for him to come home yet, but we are on speaking terms. I'm not the type of person to hold grudges or want to get back at people. But boy, self-humiliation can be just as bad as being humiliated by someone else, because I did it to myself.
Yeah, and you're just assuming that everybody else is, like you said, talking about you or what they're thinking about you. Well, Patty, you're in a very interesting position, because you're on. It sounds like you're trying to work through things, and we're going to pray that if it's God's will, that you guys come back together and really learn some wonderful have some wonderful opportunities in forgiveness and healing and moving forward, because you do have a very long, beautiful marriage, and like you said, being Catholic, you want to hold that together. The only thing I would just share with you is I hope you have good spiritual direction around you, and it sounds like you got maybe good counseling, just for yourself, because this is a growth opportunity for you. You're going to tap into places in your heart that you probably never thought you were able to do with forgiveness and everything, but you can overcome it. Yeah, remember Matthew 19:26, with God all things are possible. And so we're going to pray that for you. But please know this, okay? Like you said, if you have that tendency to self-humiliate, God wouldn't want that for you, because that's just going to keep you back. Okay, it's a different situation if you just are in a situation and you happen to experience humiliation. Well, yeah, you have to deal with it in a mature way, like we were talking about with the other callers. But in your situation, you're putting that upon yourself, I think, and that's unnecessary, and that can really keep you back. What you need to do is get really in a great place with God and know yourself and your relationship with God. And so it's a wonderful place for you to be, of great spiritual growth for you and for your husband and for your marriage. So that's what we're going to pray for you. And I hope you receive those prayers and feel those prayers as well. What do you think?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your prayers, and God bless both of you.
All right. Thank you, Patty. Bless you, too. 833-288-3986. You can also text in your comment or your question. Just text the letters EWTN to 55000. Wait for just a quick moment. You'll be prompted to put in your first name and your comment or your question. We can get to that. Also, email take2@EWTN.com. We heard from Carol. Dear Jerry and Debbie, hi. Hearing the topic for today, I wanted to share a slogan I came up with in early alcoholism recovery. It remains a helpful one to use. Without humility, there is no growth. Without humility, there is no growth. And also, better to have humility before humiliation drives us center stage. I have to stop and try to add actions and thoughts with humility. And Carol says humility is being true and right-sized, which feels good. Best, stand tall, Carol. So she's always got good wisdom for us, Debbie.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yes.
Carol.
She's brilliant. Thank you, Carol. Okay, Judge is up next in Abbeville, Louisiana, on Christ Our King Radio. Hi, Judge. Welcome.
Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you for waiting. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I called because I just not because I thought I had situations of humility to share, but because I want to share something about our Heavenly Father. And so that's what that was my initial thought. And then I said, while thinking and holding, I thought about 3 situations in my life where, yes, I was very humiliated and humbled and the like. But and it was your sharing that brought me to this with the separation from your children. We have one child who has chosen a way that is not of Christ, but we still love her, but she's separated herself, from us. Well, not from us so much as from the church. But what I wanted to say, the reason I called was because God has put it on my heart recently that he suffers this humiliation and this separation and this rejection from his children on a regular basis. And thousands of people, even though he loves them and died for them, reject him on a regular basis. So if anyone is listening out there and feels rejected by their children, they should know, they need to know that they have a Heavenly Father who knows just exactly how they feel, and that they can go to him for comfort and consolation.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking of the Bible passage. I'm doing a little looking for it right here. If somebody knows what it is, they can help me out here. But, with Jesus, it said, in one of the Gospels or one of the books of the Bible, it says, for the joy that lay before him, he endured the shame of the cross. And I'm paraphrasing badly here, but, Jesus had the big picture, kind of the long-term picture seen all the way down the field. And he knew if anybody felt the shame and the humiliation of being what happened to Jesus, it would be him. Because, first of all, that would be shameful and humiliating for anybody, even if you were really, really, really super duper guilty and all of that stuff. You take Jesus, who was not guilty of anything, pure, holy, innocent, the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God. And he went through that shame, that humiliation, because of his love for us, and like the passage says, because of the joy that lay before him. So maybe Judge and Debbie, taking that into our own lives, when we have humiliating moments from day to day or week to week or whatever, it can be painful, and we want to maybe try and resist them, wiggle out of them, run from them, and so forth. There are times that we can't do that, and so we just need to see them for what they are. Okay, they are opportunities for us to embrace them and say, okay, I want this to help make me humble, and even offer it up, Debbie. We can offer up so much stuff, and this just fits right very nicely into the whole conversation of things like redemptive suffering, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing about it, what I was taking away from what you were saying, Jerry, and from what Judge was saying, is that, we're in good company. If the Lord, Judge, you're so right. Jesus accepts this humiliation and this rejection on a moment-to-moment basis. When you think of all the people that reject him constantly, and we receive it as well when we're here, and so it does unite us to our Lord, and so in that attachment comes great spiritual growth. If we allow it. If we go the other way, it could lead to resentment and to falling away from our faith. So I think that's what you're saying, Judge. I actually, as you were speaking and you were kind of welling up with emotion, I started to just, it actually felt good for the first time in my heart that I kind of identified with that as you were saying it. So I just appreciate what you have to say, and I hope we captured the essence of it. Did we, Judge?
I think you did. Yes, I think you did.
Oh, good. Well, thank you so much. And I pray that your daughter comes back into the family, into the faith, because that's very hard. That's the number one prayer request that we get. Actually, that's in all of Catholic radio, is to have our children come home to the faith. So you're not alone with that. Yep.
Yeah. We're praying for that for you, Judge, and for any other parents who are really, I think suffering is the right word, suffering with kids away from a practice of the faith. Thank you, Judge, for your phone call. Hebrews 12:2 is the passage I was thinking of there, where it talks about, I'm just going to go right here and say
quote it.
Well, it starts out with that beautiful line, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, talks about the saints in heaven cheering us on. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. And then in verse 2, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of God. Verse 3, consider him who endured such opposition from sinners so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. So it's saying when you experience humiliating things in your life, just consider Jesus and you will not grow weary and lose heart, because he was sinless and yet he endured that for us. And we are not sinless. So when it happens to us, just turn to Jesus and take a lesson from him.
I like the way you said that, Jerry. Okay, Brenda, thank you for waiting in Maryland on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Brenda. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Very well,
perfectly.
Brenda. Thanks for calling.
Okay, wonderful. I don't usually call in. I'm a big listener when I'm in the car. But something really told me that I needed to call in, so I don't know if this is for someone that is listening, that maybe it'll touch, maybe even for Patty, because I experienced something very similar. My ex-husband had an affair. He had multiple affairs, actually, probably more than I even knew about. But the last one was with a neighbor and a friend of mine that I confided in. So I felt very humiliated and very betrayed and very embarrassed in my neighborhood, knowing that I was certain that myself was the talk of the dinner table, and everybody gave you that look of, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, you could tell that people were very saddened by what was happening. However, I had some moments of self-doubt. Why? Why am I not enough? Why can't my husband stay home? I think he's working, but he's out having a whole nother life while I'm taking care of kids. And then, you know, I realized that, you know, the children that I had through my marriage was a great gift. And I really focused my love on them, and knowing that I didn't want them to feel badly about who their father was, because it's a different relationship, I turned to lighting candles, getting on my knees, and praying that God give me the strength to get through this and to not turn into an angry, bitter person about it. And boy, he listened, and he gave me the strength. And I got through that divorce, and I didn't file for my annulment until my children were 18 and above, so that if anything stirred back up, it wouldn't bring it back up into them to live through it. And it was fantastic, and I met a wonderful man who shares my faith and experienced the same thing that I experienced, but the reversed type of role. So through something that was painful and humiliating came out something so wonderful. And I can't imagine my world without my husband. And my ex-husband is still very much involved with my children's life and is married now to my old ex-neighbor. And at birthday parties, I actually hug both of them, and I do not feel anger, hatred, or bitterness towards either one of them. Just very happy how everything turned out. And it's through God's strength, his love, letting me know that he's not going to let me down no matter what. Everything I do and have in life, it's through him, and he's with us. Mm-hmm. So I just want people to know out there that it's really important to just, know who you are, stand strong in your faith. It's nothing you did. You're not any less of a person, or, I was a great wife. I was a good wife and a good mother, and, I have a current husband, and my children will attest to that. And they have now told me as adults they're very proud of me and how I handled things. They don't know how I did so well. Mm-hmm. And I tell them it was through God.
I was just going to say, you did it through God, Brenda. It was your disposition. Yeah. It was your attitude. It was your outlook. It was the way you stayed very close to God, and you said, I'm not going to get bitter. This is going to make me better, not bitter. And that's a wonderful thing. And it's interesting. I just want to say real quickly, I watched a talk show many years ago that had talked about people whose spouses had affairs and left the marriage. And think about it, okay? When they leave, the marriage. They're certainly not going to say, when they have an affair, they're not going to say, "Oh, my wife was so great, but I still had an affair." They have to create, they have to create a scenario that fosters them leaving the marriage. So of course, people need to wake up and realize that when somebody leaves the marriage, it's not because of that spouse. It's because of that person that chose out. That person chose out of that commitment for whatever insecurity or whatever problem they have. They chose out. It wasn't the spouse staying at home's staying at home, their issue. And I agree, Brenda. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think that helps a lot of people getting through it. And it sounds like God had a wonderful path for you, and your children can now see a strong mom that has stayed close to Jesus, and that's going to benefit them for their faith walk as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bless you, Brenda. Thanks for being part of the program. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. And another service of EWTN is called Church Pop, P-O-P, churchpop.com. And it's kind of it's got serious articles. It's really like this grab bag of all kinds of stuff. Articles, quizzes, stories, photos, games, you name it. And you can sign up for free, and the link will come to your inbox every day. churchpop.com from EWTN. And I just wanted to highlight right on the homepage today, you've got here it says, "You requested it, Caroline's 2-minute toothbrush prayer for on-the-go Catholics." Okay?
Yeah.
You've also got Bishop Barron does Ask Me Anything on a major atheist forum, and it was glorious. His best answers inside. And there's another one here, a picture of Mother Angelica, and it says, "Baptist admits rosary is, quote, more powerful than I thought," end quote. And he recommends Mother Angelica as a teacher. So there's some of the things on there. You've got the amazing ways these 9 celebrities have vocalized their Catholic faith. So, folks, sign up for church. The news is really, it brings you down so much these days. All right, go to churchpop.com and you'll find some stuff that will maybe enliven your spirit a little bit. Churchpop.com. I know you love it, Debbie.
I love it. Okay, Mary, driving through Michigan on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Mary. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello. I was going to start and go one direction. I'm listening to the other callers. I'm going to take a slightly different turn. Okay. I was estranged from my parents, and I didn't realize the degree of humiliation that I caused them. So it's not just being on the receiving end, but also being the one responsible for another's humiliation. That's number one. And even with that, did they make mistakes? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that they were, quote unquote, wrong or bad parents. They made mistakes. And I think that the important thing is to realize that we're all hurt people, and we unintentionally hurt other people. And just because I'm hurt doesn't mean someone had vindictive or awful motives, just that I was hurt. And so I think that for parents who are alienated, and I am a former alienator, I think it's important to realize it doesn't mean you're bad. You made mistakes. Who hasn't? Mm-hmm. So that's just one I wanted to offer up there.
Mary, real quickly, how long did it take you to realize that you may have caused your parents that humiliation? Did you learn that in your adult years, or just recently, or what?
I realized that I had caused harm by my actions, but that I actually humiliated them, I didn't realize it until I listened to the conversation. Like, oh my goodness, I humiliated them. And they're both deceased now. But it was like, oh my goodness.
But how beautiful is it of you to be open to that and understanding that? I think that is, that could really help others. Think about all the children right now that are listening that haven't spoken to their parents in many years, and they're hearing you say, wow, exactly. I just realized that. And and your parents are gone now. And, there's not that opportunity to say, hey, I'm sorry for that I caused that humiliation. I think that just goes to show what a beautiful soul you have, Mary, and it's helping others. We have lots of people that listen to the show that are in the same situation. So I just thank you for being so honest about this and kind of reaching deep and letting us know how you feel about it. We really appreciate it, Mary.
And after 37 years, I came home to the Catholic Church.
Oh, beautiful.
So just because they're estranged doesn't mean they're not going to. It was 37 years gone.
Okay.
Well, welcome back home, Mary.
Welcome home.
Congratulations. The grace of the Holy Spirit was with you that whole time, and we are so blessed to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you have our prayers. Please keep Debbie and me and the show team, everybody in your prayers. In fact, we've got a young gentleman who's doing the call screening today, Ryan Penny, who is training. One of the Michaels, Michael McCall or Michael Birchfield, are often on the call screening duties. And Jeff Burson, Rich Jesse, also behind the scenes here. So thanks to everybody who helps put the show together. We'll try to get to another call or two. I just wanted to mention, Debbie, that we had an email from Claire. And Claire says, my husband has decided after 23 years of marriage to end the marriage. He told our children, 19 and 21, I told our children I believe in the sacrament of marriage. I'm trying not to be angry. My husband hasn't talked to me in 10 weeks, and he is living in the home, and I'm ignored daily, praying every day to follow the will of God. My husband goes to Mass every week and walks by me like I'm a piece of furniture, deeply humiliating. So we need to certainly ramp up the prayers for any Claire situation, but any situation that's like that, Debbie. It's probably more common than we would like to think.
Yeah. Definitely novenas can help. Definitely. So get dedicated on some the Lady Undoer of Knots. That's what I would recommend. Okay, Doug in Brigham City, Utah, on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Doug. Thanks for waiting and welcome. We have about a minute and a half. How are you?
Hi. Actually, I'm from Prairieville, Louisiana. My wife and I, we travel the country. We're answering the call of the Pope to evangelize. And we visit various churches around when we stay in that area for about a month or so. And with the permission of their bishop, we speak to their congregation. And we've been humiliated by we've had 4 children. 3 of them left the church, and we've been struggling to get them back into the church. And over the past few years, with the help of Catholic apologist Patrick Madrid and Father Richard Howman, we've become warriors of the church militant. And we found a way of prayer, very fervent, holy prayer, to bring souls back to the church. As a matter of fact, we've had a huge miracle in our life that we share with people, and we show them how they can use the same type of prayer that we use to bring souls back to church. I'm answering the person that called previously, Mr. What's his name? The guy 2 times back. I can't remember his name now. But
it'd be Judge.
Judge, yeah.
Judge, exactly. And I know time is short, but if we're heading back to Prairieville now, and if people would want to call me, I could meet with them individually. I meet with individuals, with my wife and I, and we explain to them what they can do. So,
well, Doug, tell you what, we are coming up against the time when the closing music is going to start here. I think the best we can do, Doug, is just to wish you the best and keep you in our prayers. But you are right. Prayer is the most powerful thing we can do. I mean, it'd be like if you're going into a sporting event, you're going to play an NFL team, and you've got all NFL players except a little league football player. You don't send the little league football player in there. You certainly want to try doing whatever you can. But prayer is that way. We can do all that we can, but when we think about it, Debbie, right next to us, we've got the NFL player, the big guy, the burly guy, the guy who can hit really hard, and that's Jesus or the Holy Spirit or St. Michael. Right. We need to send them into the battle for us through prayer. That's what they do. That's what they want to do, and Doug just nailed it.
That's right. And Doug, you can always email us your information, take2, the number 2 at EWTN.com. Sylvia and the others, sorry we couldn't get to you, but tomorrow we have another show planned. We're talking about the choices we face, choosing between the things we want to do and we ought to do. Ooh, we're talking about free will tomorrow on Take 2. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.